These are the biggest events happening in the U.S. markets this week.
Somebody just threw a bottle at law enforcement.
Well, we're going to have troops everywhere. Obviously, getting more and more confrontational there.
And trust me, you're not going to want to trade until you know what happens.
I need to get in.
From Temu LA riots to Donald Trump and Elon Musk breaking up, trade talks between China and the United States. This week's going to be volatile. So make sure you hit that like button. Stick around until the end as I'll be breaking down exactly what I think is going to happen. So to start off, as of tomorrow on Monday, June 9th, the US and China trade talks round 2 are taking place in London. And a lot of people believe that this is a major positive step in these trade negotiations. Now, to keep all political bias aside, I'm going to be using this bot right here, which can tell me whether it's left, right, or a centric viewpoint on an actual article. And the center perspective here is that President Donald Trump announced new US-China trade talks that will begin on Monday, June 9th. The talks follow escalating tariffs that peaked at 145% on Chinese goods and a May 12th truce negotiated in Geneva. Trump said on Truth Social the meeting should go very well and described the call with Xi as very good, ending with a very positive conclusion. The talks aim to resolve a tariff and technology dispute while restoring critical mineral exports with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and others representing the U.S. Now, a positive event out of this would be either lowered and massively reduced tariffs or an inevitable pause on the 90-day tariff pause that we saw put in place recently. Of course, with the announcement of the pause in May, we saw global stock markets and commodities jump in response to the announcement. In fact, Bitcoin saw a 15% pump, which means if we were to see a longer pause or a reduction in these tariffs, we could see a price point of Bitcoin between $115,000 and $122,000. Now, will that happen? Let's see what else we need to expect in the markets this week. We have May inflation data, an Apple conference, which could be huge for the tech sector, and GameStop earnings. Data you're going to need to know about is the May inflation data, which we'll get to in just a moment. But similar to Nvidia's famous stock rallies, we could be expecting a pretty big pump in the tech sector if all goes well at the Apple Worldwide Developer Conference. Tim Cook is scheduled for Monday, tomorrow, the same day we have the Chinese negotiations. And he's likely going to use this event to address the company's new products, services, and partnerships. Now, similar to Nvidia back in, I think it was March of 2023, this also could coincide with a top or a local top in the market. So we'll have to wait and see. But next up, you got GameStop clarifying its cryptocurrency strategy on the company's earnings call set for Tuesday. Now, Wall Street analysts expect the company's core business results to show sustained weakness as more customers pivot towards online games. Those same analysts keep saying that GameStop is on the verge of extinction. However, this could be a complete pivoting moment for GameStop overall, and explains why the company decided to emulate Strategy, a company whose valuation has jumped to over $100 billion because of its Bitcoin holdings. Now, GameStop has become one of the biggest Bitcoin holders in the world, holding 4,700 tokens valued at roughly $500 million. And what we're going to be looking forward to in this earning call is whether or not they use the over $4.7 billion in cash and, of course, their short-term investments in zero debt to see if they're going to pick up more Bitcoin. And if they announce they're going to be purchasing billions of dollars in Bitcoin, again, this could be very positive news for the market sentiment. But lastly, we have, of course, the U.S. inflation report scheduled for Wednesday. And this will indicate whether or not President Donald Trump's tariffs are beginning to have an effect on the economy. Alongside the CPI data, we also have the big, beautiful bill Donald Trump's been trying to push. And we also have the Genius Act for stablecoins looking to be pushed this week. Now, the most important data is going to be the CPI, as this will result with a Federal Reserve meeting around the corner, and the report could set a tone for the central bank as it faces pressure from Trump to lower interest rates. Donald Trump's also been teasing who they're going to announce as the next Fed chair, which is a bonus announcement for this video, as we don't know if it will be announced this week or not, but Trump is saying a decision on the next Fed chair will be announced very soon. And if the Fed chair is bullish on Bitcoin, once again, we could see a huge price rally in Bitcoin's market cap. And it is exactly why I want to prepare you guys with the ultimate portfolio for this new US economy. ETH and altcoins are struggling against Bitcoin. We've been stuck in this trading range all the way since May as Bitcoin has broken out to new all-time highs. And this isn't necessarily bad for altcoins. It is perspective on where we're heading in this market, which is a very high Bitcoin dominating market. As I continue to tell you all, I expect Bitcoin dominance to remain higher for longer. And this is my own personal opinion, but I believe that Bitcoin is going to be fundamentally the strength of everybody's portfolio moving forward, as it always has been. And an alt season is going to be extremely sector-based, more or less focusing on real-world assets and stablecoin markets as institutional investors and the government comes into these new markets. I mean, every single time we see Bitcoin hit time highs, Ethereum sets a lower high on that weekly or monthly or yearly time frame, whatever cycle range you want to look at. I mean, hell, Bitcoin hit $112,000 and Ethereum still hasn't broken past 3K. Now, I expect Ethereum to hit $5,000 this cycle, not only due to the institutional interest in ETFs we're seeing released from all of these companies, but primarily because of the tokenization happening on Ethereum today. I mean, there's going to be a day where Wall Street allocates 2% of all of their investments into Bitcoin. A fraction of that will be into altcoins, which means I believe Bitcoin isn't going to go anywhere. It's going to be at a 5, 6, 7, 8 trillion dollar market cap, $20 trillion market cap one day. But now's the time to hone in and research which sectors are going to benefit the most from institutional interest, stablecoin adoption, and this next revolution of financial markets. Now, if you want a video on the top altcoins I'm holding, which is released in the Discord, so make sure you guys go join the Discover Crypto Discord. It's completely free to join. I have my full portfolio broken down in there. But if you want an in-depth guide into why I'm positioned in select altcoins, let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know which altcoins you're most excited for with this institutional wave of adoption coming into these markets. Other than that, guys, hit that like button on the way out, and we'll see you in the next video.